Hey, listen, before we get into today's episode, let me ask you this. When's the last time you had a proper break? Whether you're a truckie, a shift worker, a parent, or just here for the laughs. We know you're working bloody hard just to keep the wheels turning, and that's why our mates at Nature Bee want to send you on the holiday of a lifetime. We're talking $20,000 worth of travel anywhere in the world. You name it. Fiji, Vegas, the Outback, Rome, Paris, London, doesn't matter. New York, you choose. Stick with us because only Bonafide listeners get the inside scoop on double entry weeks, exclusive offers, and a lot more. So hit the link in the show notes or head to naturebee.com. Read the T's and C's, and I'll tell you more as we roll on throughout the episode of Bonafide, also made possible thanks to Nature Bee.
Start listening to Bonafide, it's a really good podcast show. Available on Spotify, it's a really good download. Stop apologizing for missing an episode. Time is short, life is good. It's time for us to turn to a hardcore man cave. Yeah! Thomas and Kelsey behind the scenes, getting all the special guests. The different segments, hooks and jokes. Fridays are the best. People send in voicemail and get things off their chest. It's enough to make Luke Bona believe that his podcast will take the lead of Hardcore Man Cave. Yeah! With the vice captain, Adam McDonald.
Welcome to another Man Cave. The Vice Captain is with us. We're going to talk number plates in a bit more detail today because we had an interesting conversation about it last time. And the Vice Captain, Adam McDonald, star of the TV show Aussie Pickers, has Ben Hastings coming up. Now, Ben is the big boss at Car Bids, All Bids and Evans Hastings. And he's an expert on number plates. What's rare, what's worth money, and how does it all work? Why are some number plates deemed to be offensive and others not? We'll get into all of that in just a second and some listener feedback. But Vice Captain, I wonder if you can just add to a conversation we had here on Bonafide recently. I revealed to all that I had a dream many years ago, many years ago, after a big night on the tiles, by the way, you with me? Right. I dreamt that I was standing at the urinal of the Bathurst Rugby Leagues Club having a slash, right? And my then wife, Jacob's mother, yells out, "What are you doing?" And I woke up and I was in the praying mantis position, holding myself up. I was in the wardrobe, pissing on my shoes. But I dreamt that I was at a urinal. Now, Kelsey said, she knows lots of blokes that have done that. And it turns out it's not uncommon. What is it about us? And yes, apparently it's really, really common.
Yes, very common. It is. It's just when you're that deep in a session, you're just on autopilot.
Well, we did a quick poll here on Bonafide.
Yep.
And we got some feedback on our socials last week. We asked the question, how many of you have actually had a pissed piss? 82% of respondents
Told you.
said yes.
Yeah. Told you.
Do women do it? Are there any women that listen to this podcast that will admit that they've done it? And where or when?
Probably wouldn't admit it.
Come on.
I don't know one
Come on,
female
Kels.
that has, just so you know.
Come on,
We
Kelsey.
know what you drink like.
Hey, Kelsey, has Nene done it?
Oh, she's not allowed to answer that, remember?
Yeah. Well, anyway, 82% of respondents said yes, they've done it. So there you go. Very, very strange behaviour. Is that you, Ben?
Yeah, how you going?
G'day, mate. It's Luke and Kelsey.
Nice to meet you both. How you going?
Ben, you are the CEO of Car Bids, All Bids and Evans Hastings. Tell us, what does all that involve? Tell us about those brands and those products?
Yeah, so look, Orbits has been established in the Canberra and, southern New South Wales region for about 20 years. A couple of years ago when I sort of took over as general manager, I suppose I saw the space for separating the websites into more standalone platforms so we can really hone in and fixate on what we're doing and make sure we're doing a really damn good job of it. So that's obviously when Adam jumped on board when we set up the Evans Hastings side of the business and its own platform. And Car Bids is obviously my passion project. So I launched that a few years ago with enormous success since.
There was a story recently you would have seen about a young Queensland mum who was blown away after the government knocked back her request for personalised number plates, and it featured her name. Her name is Indica Bradford, Indica. And she always wanted to have her own custom number plates since the day she got her licence. You may have seen this on a current affair. She said everyone has personalised plates and I could get my full name because it's so unique. I was really excited about it. After years of checking online to see if her name was still available, she finally placed her order. She bought the car and she thought, good, I'll finally get my number plates. So I put them on lay-by. The excitement was short-lived. A few weeks later, her deposit was refunded. The Department of Transport and Main Roads ruled her chosen plates inappropriate. Personalised Plates Queensland told her it's a strand of marijuana.
What?
So they've deemed it inappropriate. Indica.
Is it a
She
strand of
says her
marijuana?
mother, I don't know.
Neither.
Yes, it is. It is.
Kelsey,
yeah.
Kelsey, this is right up your alley.
Hey, no.
Anyway, it was knocked back. It's apparently some sort of a cannabis plant.
Can't she challenge that when she goes in and says it's my fucking name? Like,
Oh, you're challenging the government. They love to say no to that.
surely. Like, it's not if she's asking for heroin on her number plate. Like, if it's your name, it's your name.
Is that common to ban number plates?
Yeah, it's fairly common for the government to step in and ban number plates. I mean, there's no sort of formal checking when someone applies for plates. It's basically just left to whoever's desk it crosses. And if they decide that, it's inappropriate or they don't like it or whatever, they can ban it. So that's why sometimes you see these really, unusual plates that probably shouldn't make it to market, some pretty explicit statements or whatever that's sort of tied into some clever lettering. But sometimes they do make it onto a car, and then other times you get innocent people like this that just get totally fobbed off.
Yeah, I was talking to some blokes at the Summernats, and they were saying that the game is now what it reads reverse in your mirror, and that's how you get away with having some creepy or being a smartass. So that's the game now, is what it reads in reverse.
But anything with a racial overtone, I get it. And if it's inciting violence, I get it. But this is this woman's name and she can prove it. So I honestly think that's just overstepping. Here are some examples of number plates that were recalled or didn't make it past the starting line. One was RAP number 3D, which looks like raped. Another one was AW55HT, which I guess at a glance looks like, oh, shit. There was HU55Y, which looks a bit like hussy.
That's fun.
Now, well, here's another one, which refers to drugs and alcohol. ICEDLR, I Stealer.
Oh.
And while we have Ben Hastings there, there's a story with a bit of a mystery around it. Basically, it's about a rare number plate they reckon was worth as much as $1 million, and it changed hands for just $238 due to a failure of policy by Transport New South Wales, which it then attempted to cover up. The story in the Daily Telegraph said the licence plate with the single letter X had belonged to a Sydney barrister since the 1980s, over which time the car experts estimate the value had risen to seven figures. The owner didn't want to be named, had allowed his friend Chris Heffron to use the plates on his vehicle for a number of years, and so when the owner spotted X on someone else's luxury car driving through the eastern suburbs back in 2022, Mr. Heffron went to the Traffic New South Wales Service Centre at Bondi Junction in search of some answers. Now, what is the real story of number plate X? Adam, take it away.
Apparently the number plate lapsed, and the day it lapsed, someone called the RMS or Mr. Plates or called whoever the governing body is to ask, is the letter X available? And he was told first time no, And the second time they said, oh, well, look, yes, it is. And they said, yep, I'll buy it. And that's how he bought it for $240 or whatever it is. So it's so mysterious to me that how the guy who bought it knew that the plate was lapsing that day. Like, well, but you tell us, when a plate lapses, do you have to go and hand the plate in?
So technically speaking, you do. Each state's different.
Yeah.
So that's where it also gets confusing. But in New South Wales, when you let the registration lapse and, you haven't registered the car and the plates are still sitting on the car, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take the plates into the RMS. Now, if you don't have a valuable plate, you would just hand it back to them. However, if you've got a valuable plate like the letter X, like we're talking about, they put it in storage. They'll retain the plate itself and they'll issue you a receipt or a certificate that notifies you that the plates are being held in storage and they're still held under your name. So that's how you securely store them. I mean, it should be secure when it's on your car anyway. But
so how do you reckon this went through?
I know exactly how it went through. So what someone's done is they've remanufactured the number plate X through a third party. So they've probably engaged someone like a sign writer.
So a fake plate.
To press a fake number plate,
yeah.
And then they've handed those in to the RMS just as a random individual. And then obviously, they've probably used someone else to call through and then order the plate the same day that it was handed in.
So how would this third party who now owns a plate know that X was the rego was going to run?
Be available.
So when this story first came out, I mean, anyone can go onto Service New South Wales website, look up a registration plate, and it'll tell you when the registration expires. Now, when this story first broke, I thought, okay, that's just fortunate that they've followed this plate long enough that they've realised it expired. Now, I don't know if anyone's seen since this story came out the other day that another gentleman's come forward. He had New South Wales number plate 7. That's probably that's probably anywhere $5 to $10 million plate, right? So we're talking significantly more valuable than X. And he had the exact same problem happen to him, except worse than that, the problem happened to him while the number plate was still on his car currently registered. So someone has fraudulently gone and had the number 7 number plate made, and then they've handed that into the RMS and cashed it in or whatever they've done.
And the RMS have fucked up by saying, yes, it's available when it still wasn't.
Correct. It was actually still on a car and registered.
But how did this bloke know to ask for it the day it was handed in? There's got to be a conspiracy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think if you're going to the effort of fraudulently making the number plate and handing it in, it's because you know you're going to contact them the next day to try and purchase the plate.
Yeah, so you can look up any plate you like and then put it into the RMS website and it could say this plate is not available or is registered on a car till October 14. So you can follow it and think, all right, just by chance, if this fella that owns it doesn't re-register the car that day, I can buy it. So maybe it doesn't stink. Maybe it's just...
No, but that's the thing. You can't buy it. Like if they still holding on to the plate and stuff, you're not allowed to buy it. They still own the rights to the plate. So what someone's doing is, let's say I own the letter X and you want the letter X, you go to a sign writer and get a fake letter X number plate made.
Yeah.
You go to the RMS and hand that plate in and go, oh, sorry, letter X, don't need it anymore. Here you go. See you later. And then the next day you ring them and go, oh, I'd love to buy the number plate X that's been handed in, please.
Yeah, right.
So it's fraud.
So is there a black market for number plates?
Well, no one's really heard of this happening before. And now, obviously this person's come forward with the letter X and now someone's come forward with the letter 7. So there's obviously something happening in the background.
The number plate market, they're almost like a commodity these days. Like people are buying them and just sitting on them, aren't they?
Yes. There's huge investment value.
Huge money.
And there's no capital gains tax on number plates.
There you go. That's another thing.
Really?
But I think
That is so true. I never thought of that.
Wow.
with the RMS, their systems that they run are so clunky and backwards, it's ridiculous. They're the only government body that won't send an email. They'll send you a letter. Like if your license is about to expire, they'll send you a posted letter.
Oh, well, what's even crazier is Mr. Plates, the company that manages all of these number plates for the RMS in and out. So if you want personalised plates, you want green number plates on your car, you go to Mr. Plates. If you want to buy the letter X, you contact Mr. Plates. Mr. Plates is a privately owned company that manages all the number plates for the RMS.
It's so backwards, it's ridiculous.
Wow. And tell me, if you have a car that has current registration and during the time of that car's 12-month registration, you want to put personalised plates on it, so you go through Mr. Plates, you have to pay an ongoing fee depending on the plate you get, correct,
That's
Ben?
right. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to pay a yearly fee.
Is that fee payment linked to the registration, so you only have to pay it at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, so it's linked to the rego now. Even though you buy it maybe 3 months out from the car's registration due date, you only have to pay one fee.
Yeah, so you pay one fee up front to have the plates made and issued, and then you pay another yearly fee when you renew the registration, which is typically around $4.95, I believe.
That changes state to state, doesn't it?
Every single state's different.
So New South Wales, you've got to pay it yearly, but the other states, it's a one-off payment and it's yours.
In New South Wales, you've got to pay a yearly fee to even have it on your car. In ACT, for example, you pay a fee to have the plate issued to you in the first place. And then if it's on a car, it doesn't cost you any extra.
Yeah.
And then if you put it into storage, it's like $15 a month.
So when this person handed in the fake plates to Transport New South Wales or whatever, Transport New South Wales didn't do any checks to see that these were fake plates. Like, would the original plates still be out there?
Yeah, that's right. So the gentleman who's complained about the letter X still has the original number plate, and that's where his confusion lied.
I bet it did, yeah.
And then obviously this other gentleman that's come forward with the number 7 still had the car, like the number plate on his car registered. And obviously the car was now unregistered.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
You know, it's a huge amount of fraud if you think about it. Like, you know, it's a small thing getting a tin plate made, sure, but we're talking about plates that are worth $5 to $10 million. That's, you know, that's got to constitute fraud to the same level.
Absolutely. And I was talking to Benny about it yesterday. It'd be interesting to see if the guy that now has the letter X, if he's going to put it up for sale. So if he just keeps it on his car, whatever, but if he 6 months down the track, 12 months down the track, comes to Carbies and says, I've got the letter X, can you sell it for me? That's when he's going to know it was purely done for fraud. It was a monetary value.
And that's if the gentleman even knows, because, I mean, there's a whole market in the background, right?
Yeah.
So they could have sold it on 2 or 3 times, and whoever's got it now is just completely unaware.
Hang on, Ben, is it possible then you could have 2 or even more cars with the same number plates, but only one is genuine, the rest are fraudulent? And if that's the case, what happens with speeding fines and red light cameras, and what happens with insurance?
It's sad, but anyone can probably get a fraudulent plate made. I mean, obviously most sign writers say no, but I'm sure there's some sign writers that say yes for anything for a buck. But, I mean, you bring up an interesting point. So an issue we had recently in the ACT is ACT number plates have always started with the letter Y. Recently, New South Wales plates have started issuing standard plates with the letter Y. So if you had an ACT number plate YRE05A, then, you know, you might have had that plate for decades and it's just a standard issue general number plate. But then New South Wales RMS have now issued YRE08A to a New South Wales car on a New South Wales number plate. Now, what was happening was the New South Wales cars were driving through all the toll booths, anything that was on camera, basically, and all the fines and tolls were being issued to the ACT drivers.
Yeah,
because once again, the RMS weren't doing their due diligence, or whoever's managing the tolls and so on and so forth didn't do their due diligence, and all of these things were getting funneled to ACT drivers.
I saw online, and it's probably fraudulent. It would definitely be illegal, so don't try this at home. But it was somebody advertising a spray that you could spray on your number plate that would cause a reflection, and you couldn't get caught in red light cameras or tolls. Is that bullshit? It's obviously illegal, but have you heard of this?
Look, I have heard of it, and it's, you know, some of it's snake oil, some of it's genuine. You can buy number plate covers that drop a black sheet over your number plate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a gentleman got caught recently in Sydney doing it because someone caught it on dash cam. He went through the toll booth, the little black sheet dropped over the number plate to cover it, but that was caught on dash cam, and obviously the dash cam caught the number plate prior to it being dropped, so he's in all sorts of trouble.
I mean, that story's been around for decades, man. Like when I first got my TE Gemini, I was told that if you put one of those Perspex covers over the number plate and then spray it with hairspray, cameras wouldn't catch it. So I don't know, like Ben said, I think it's a bit of bullshit there.
Yeah, just a bit of bullshit, or snake oil, or a bit of both.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'd tell you one thing I saw, Ben. I was travelling through the tolls when they had them on the Harbour Bridge once, and there was a motorbike with a pillion passenger, and the passenger leaned back and covered up the number plate because they only have number plates on the back.
Yep.
Motorbikes only have plates on the back. And I thought, what's going on there? Then I realised they were covering the number plate so they didn't have to pay the toll.
Yeah, and like prior to dash cams and stuff, I mean, it was easy to get away with that sort of stuff, particularly on bikes. You could tuck the plate under the rear flare. You could stick your foot over the back of it. You could do all sorts of things to cover it up.
It's a big risk for saving yourself $2, isn't it?
Well, it's not $2 anymore. That's the thing. Like if you were driving around every day, all day in Sydney this day and age, like you probably rack $40-50 in tolls a day. You know,
I drove up from Canberra to the Central Coast through all those tolls, and it came up to about $25.
Yeah, imagine doing that all day, every day, or twice a day.
And guess what Chris Minns is saying, Premier of New South Wales, when the next harbour, the harbour tunnel is completed, they're going to toll motorists coming north on the harbour bridge as well. At the moment, you only pay a toll going south. They're going to double it. They're going to charge people coming the other way as well.
It's a joke.
Sydney's ridiculous. You can keep that joint, honestly.
Because the Harbour Bridge was paid off during the time of Nick Greiner. I remember it was a big day. Harbour Bridge finally paid off, but they kept the toll.
Yeah, and they do that on all the new roads like the West Connects and stuff as well. You know, they say they claim the tolls to pay off the road, and then once they claim their billions in revenue, they're never going to switch it off, are they?
Yeah, but those privately owned roads and tolls are made by private enterprise, and they have shareholders they want a return, a continuous return, and the government does a deal with them.
Yeah, it's insane to think about, really.
What I find funny, Luke, it's probably only me and you are going to know what I'm talking about here, is remember the cartoon The Jetsons?
Yeah, here's George Jetson.
Yeah, so it's set in the future, and everyone's flying around in these hover cars and flying cars, and society's gone direct opposite. And we're going through tunnels. No one's flying around. We're digging holes in the ground and going through tunnels. Crazy.
Yeah, but they got the widescreen TVs correct. They got Zoom conversations correct. It had a lot going for it. The Jetsons. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Just staying with number plates for a second. We asked you guys to send us in the weirdest number plates you've ever seen. We got some responses. Jeff sent us in a beauty, Adam. You've seen this one.
Yep.
H8, H for Harry, 8 for number 8, New South Wales. I hate New South Wales. Ben Hastings, what would that be worth?
Oh, not very much. Once upon a time, those sorts of unusual letter plates and, sort of shortened down sayings and stuff like that were obviously worth a bit of money, probably, in the early to mid 2000s, but they've dropped off completely now.
I think the ones that are holding all the money are the low digits. That's where the money's at.
Yeah, anything historical or, those low digits, single letter number plates, those sorts of things.
Guys, we had another listener send in their plates. It was Jason from the Sunshine Coast. He said this: "Hi, Luke and Kelsey. Here is a picture of my number plate that I bought around 18 years ago, never used. I'll put it on my dream car, which will be a 911, within the next couple of years. Happy for you to post. Regards, Jason from the Sunshine Coast." You guys have seen it, and it's on our socials. It's a Queensland number plate, ALQQK. So that's meant to say a look, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Definitely, I think so.
Is that worth anything? Probably not.
Not a huge amount to the open market. I mean, it's worth a bit to, I suppose if someone really wants it or it means something to them for any reason, then yeah, it's obviously got a bit of sentimental value or something. But
I was speaking to a fella the other day that he's got the number plate Diesel. I spoke to him about it, and this fella reckons it's worth a hell of a lot of money. But I said, unless you're a fucking diesel mechanic, it's not worth much, is it?
No, but like once upon a time, this is the stuff that people really wanted. Yeah. They wanted like sayings and catchphrases and characters and so on and so forth. It's just that the market's just diminished. Lower numbers, single digits, anything heritage, particularly in Victoria, like whatever was a standard issue in the early 1900s or whatever. So you walked in and you were handed number 26 and you were the 26th person to get a number plate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That stuff's got a lot of heritage and value and stuff, and some of the single letters and stuff too.
Are Victorians, are they more crazy for number plates than any other state? I get the feeling that they're, as far as cars and being rev heads go, they're the lunatics.
Somewhat. I mean, like, I've always looked at Melbourne as being like the old money capital city as well. It's got a lot of old money in Melbourne and there's a lot of heritage there and stuff like that. So people take it very seriously and stuff. So like throughout COVID and throughout this whole heritage number plate market and stuff, Victoria's just completely led Australia as far as values and what they've achieved at auction and so on and so forth. Yeah.
I was talking to Ben on the how long we spent in the car, 7 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
7 hours in the car yesterday, driving out in Central West. But we're talking about when I was a teenager, some number plates that were around then, and I remembered this Cortina, and the number plate was WOG 007. So it was WOG 007. And so Ben looked it up, And the fellow still has the car. He still has the number plate. A car magazine did a story about him like this year.
Yeah, it was in June, yeah.
Damn.
All right. Quick pit stop, folks. Let's talk holidays. Now, be honest. The road in front of you, the treadmill under your feet, or that pile of dishes in the sink, it's getting old. Now, picture this. Swapping the dish soap for an icy Bingtane. Imagine the endless stretch of highway turning into a stretch of white, sandy beach. Or that treadmill. Suddenly, it's the climb to Machu Picchu. Now, that's the feeling Nature Bee wants to give you with their bucket list competition. A chance to win $20,000 worth of travel anywhere you choose. And if your dream trip costs less, well, the rest is yours, the spending money. You keep the change. Plus, there are plenty of little wins too. Gift vouchers to turn a long weekend into something special. And Nature Bee prize packs to give your insides the reset of a yoga retreat. All you need to do is spend $79.90 or more on Nature Bee products and you are automatically in the draw. So if you've ever thought of trying Power Pollen, this is the time to do it. Hit the link in the show notes or head to naturebee.com. Read the T's and C's and who knows, next time you're listening to Bonafide, you could be listening to us from the beach.
So it would have been almost 30 years. He's had the same number plate and the same car.
So sometimes it's not a monetary value thing. Sometimes it's just something that means a lot to you and you don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, with that particular car, it's a TE Cortina. It's a status thing. It'd be generational. Maybe like Ben was going to say, maybe he's going to hand it down to his kids and keep the car going. Like there was rivalries back then where there was two TE Cortinas going around. One was WOG 007 and the other one number plate was Too Cool. And they're both still on a Cortina and they're both still registered.
We also had a voicemail that somebody sent in.
Peter.
Let's have a listen.
Hey, Luke and Kels, it's Peter, just telling you what my number plates are. I have CA88IE on the car at home, being cabbie because I've been cabbie for over 20 years. Now I'm a cold courier, so my number plate is ICYFR with the number 8, so icy freight, because I take throws and stuff. But when I was younger, I had 2 Fat for You, which I saw the other day, and it now belongs to a mechanic. Fat Performance, I think the company was called. But, yeah, they're the plates that I've been involved with. Thanks and loving the show.
That's creative.
Yeah. Well,
that is some creative plates
back
there.
in the day, I think we've spoken about this before. Back in the day, before they cracked down on what the number plates were, there was that panel van running around the northern beaches and the number plate was RU16.
Yeah, it got banned.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did get banned. So it should. So it should.
But wouldn't WOG be seen as offensive?
Probably would now, but you know, back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, it was a badge of honour. I mean, remember the TV show WOG's Out of Work? And, and they were Greek and they were proud of it. It was a comedy show.
That's right. And, you know, going even further back, Kingswood Country with Ted
Bullpick. Oh, my
Bullpick.
God.
All right, well, well outside my generation at that point.
Benny's looking at me with a blank stare on his face. He's got nothing. Yeah. Leave your money on the fridge.
Ross Higgins, keep your money in the fridge. Yeah, you call him, and he called his son-in-law WOG all the time.
Yeah.
And they even had the front yard. Remember this, Adam? They had an Aboriginal statue called Neville.
Neville, it's a thing. Like they're part of Australian garden culture. Like those original concrete statues, they sell for a lot of money these days. And the real ones have Neville stamped on the back. You've got a Neville in your front yard, and you've got a Tyre Swan in your backyard. You know, it's part of Australian culture, as cringy as it is.
I often wondered if it was called Neville after the great, late Queensland Senator Neville Bonner. I never knew that.
No, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from, but it's definitely a thing that whoever was making them, they had stamped on the base of the back the name Neville.
Just, I know we're digressing. We'll get back to number plates in a second. Things that weren't distasteful but now really are cancel culture, I guess, Adam. Do you remember tobacco stores used to have wooden American Indian statues?
Yes.
There was a Seinfeld episode that featured one.
Yes. He gave it to Kramer, and then something happened, but there was a line in there, "What are you, an Indian giver?" Like it was...
No, that was the girl that he was interested in who was an American Indian. And Elaine couldn't believe that Jerry brought this totem American cigar statue home, and one of her friends was this beautiful American Indian girl. That's where that came from, yeah. Back to the plates. On the phone, we've got Kelsey's future father-in-law. This is Nene's dad, Adam, vice captain. So I guess that makes him my future brother-in-law. His name is Steve.
G'day, Steve.
And he's just completed an amazing holiday, a grey nomad holiday with a caravan travelling around Australia. He's on his way back to New South Wales now. He's on the phone because he's a car enthusiast and has a number plate story to tell us. Steve, welcome to the Bonafide podcast, brother.
Thanks, Lou.
Now, Steve, you've got a WRX Subaru number plate story.
Yes, yeah. So it sort of stems back about 20 plus years now. We bought back in around 2000. I don't know whether you remember these cars, Luke, the WRX STIs when they first came into Australia. So there was the two-door version and then the four-door version.
And the STI badge was purple.
It was pink.
Pink, but yeah. Yeah,
that was the STI. So a mate of mine bought the two-door version, and then I waited too long. They'd all sold out, so I ended up buying the four-door version in 2000. Thought I needed a fancy set of number plates to go with it. So I jumped online at the time on the 56K modem and had a bit of a search around, and I actually found somebody selling the number plate Rex, R-E-X, which is what everybody used to call the Rex. And so I made him an offer, and he took it.
How much?
I think I paid about $1,000 back in those days. So that was around 2000. So that was enough money back in those days. Stuck him on the car, and it looked great, and I loved it, and I loved that number plate. And I do remember one day driving along Windsor Road, heading out towards Windsor. I was actually heading out to play golf, and there was another guy in another WRX driving along there, and his number plate was Sikkim. And I don't know whether you remember
Sikkim Rex.
The Sikkim Rex. That's it. So we were driving along together with the two number plates, which was pretty cool back in the day. So anyway, that was a bit of fun, and that's how I ended up with that plate. And then I ended up selling the car. It's one of those cars I should never have sold, but I stuck the plates into storage, thinking one day I might get myself another WRX, which eventually I did. So, and that sort of was based around the stuff we do with Targa. So I was actually building a Targa car.
Targa Tasmania.
To go and do Targa Tasmania in one of the categories. And so I built the car, built this old, once again, a 2000 WRX, stuck the Rexy plates on it. They were ready to go. But unfortunately, Targa hasn't been running for the last few years. So once again, I sold a car. So I sold the car, tried to sell the plates with the car. That didn't happen, but ended up offloading the plates eventually to a friend who has a WRX, and he was looking for something for his car as well. So I struggled, I must say, to actually sell those plates. I actually went to a couple of places like Shannon's back in the day when they used to sell number plates in cars and so forth. Mm-hmm. And they were very much interested in numbered number plates, but not so much words. So they didn't sell anything with words on it, which was quite interesting. So, yeah, I advertised them. I got a couple of nibbles, but nothing really. And so I ended up pretty much giving them away.
Oh, wow. Have you got any other interesting number plates?
No, not anymore. No, that's the only proper personalised number plate that I've had.
But you bought them for $1,000 and you ended up giving them away. Do you think we blokes, and not just we blokes, do you think people who have a passion for vehicles become personally attached to both their cars and their plates?
Absolutely. Yep. I had those plates in storage for 20 years until I built the new car. So they just sat around and I was just paying that annual fee that we were talking about before for 20 years. And I kept going, I should get rid of them. And you just go, it's only a few $100. I'll just do it this year and I'll worry about it next year. Before you knew it was 20 years later. And I ended up with a car and stuck the plates on it for a couple of years. You do definitely become attached to them.
These car guys, when you build a car and you put so much of your personality and effort and money into a car, the number plate is like the crowning glory. Do you know what I mean? Like you can build a nice car.
It's the cherry on top.
Exactly right. It's the gold chain. Like it's the flash part of the car that really really caps it off. Really finishes the car.
The millennial will have no idea what we meant by, Sikkim.
Isn't that the anteater?
Now, Kelsey, just some magic.
I do know, Sikkim Rex.
Okay, do you remember what it was for?
Bug
Don't
spray.
you start typing. It was for hole-proof ants' pants.
Oh, Oh, that's right.
And the actress, her name, do you remember the name, Steve?
No, I don't actually.
Oh, she was beautiful. Tonya Bird was her name. And yes, Sick'em Rex was one of the famous taglines. It was up there at the time with Not Happy Jan and that sort of thing, wasn't it?
100%. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it was Ants, A-N-T-Z, Kelsey. Look it up, Pants, P-A-N-T-Z from memory. And it was a brand of underwear. And it was quite controversial, wasn't it? Because she had ants crawling up her leg towards her crutch or the ant trap.
That's right. That's right, yes.
And
it was one of the best ads on TV, I think.
I know, but it was really controversial. And then so the ants are moving up her leg and she's got the anteater next to her and finally she says, Sick'em Rex. And that was the ad for Ants Pants.
I think that was out at about the same time as the Tab ad with Elle Macpherson running up the beach, if you remember that one as well.
I think it was after that. The Tab ad with Elle Macpherson, that was her first big thing. And, of course, they don't make Tab anymore in that purple can, or was it pink? See, I can't distinguish between purple and pink, which drives my missus absolutely mad when we're playing pool. But, however, Ants, Pants, Underwear, Sick'em Rex. And then, of course, out came the Mitsubishi Evo to take on the WRX. Any memories?
Yes, yeah, they were quite a car, weren't they? I think they probably had an edge over the Rexies as far as overall performance and capability and that type of thing. But I think it's one of those things. Once you're brand loyal, you sort of start to stick with it. And it was like an Apple versus an Android. It was Subaru versus Mitsubishi, Holden versus Ford, that type of thing. They were a great car, but I was hooked on the Subis.
I'm dying to talk to you about your trip. First of all, how long have you been away?
On this leg, 5 months. So we spent almost most of that in Western Australia, travelling up and down the coast.
What sort of caravan?
It's a 19'6" titanium hardcore, because you've got to have a tough name with a caravan these days.
Yeah, well, don't try and put that on the number plate.
That's true. That's true.
It's like a hotel on wheels, their caravan.
Yeah, it's a bit of luxury. You don't do it too tough these days. We've done tents and camper trailers and all that sort of stuff, but Lisa and I decided it was time to have something a little bit luxurious. So we've got showers and toilets and washing machines and all those sorts of things on board.
And a zero gravity bed. Don't forget the zero gravity bed.
Zero gravity bed as well. Yes, we do, Kelsey. Thank you.
Yeah, because as you get older, Steve, you and I know that when you go to bed, you don't need more pressure from gravity, do you?
That's true. There's enough weight holding you down to the earth as it is.
Exactly. Gravity ceases to be your friend when you hit 50.
That's right.
Steve, I want to introduce you to Adam McDonald, the vice captain of the Man Cave, and the CEO of Car Bids, All Bids, and Evans Hastings, Ben Hastings. You are a car enthusiast. You've owned some lovely cars. In fact, I think you still have a few. You've got a beautiful rally car in storage, haven't you?
Yes, I've still got the old E30, so that's the little Alpina E30 that I've got. So that's a bit of fun still. That's looking at being used again potentially early in the new year.
Benny's got one of those as well.
Yeah, I've had a couple of E24, 635 CSI M Sports and so on and so forth, but I've got an E30 coupe that I've been doing up as well at the moment.
Hang on, how many? Wrap your head around this. How many cars do you own
Currently?
Yeah,
7.
Whoa.
And the biggest one? What's that big fucking American thing you got?
The Cadillac.
Cadillac DeVille, big black shiny thing. Beautiful.
Oh, that's nice.
And do you drive them every day?
I drive one every day, but yeah, the rest get driven once in a blue moon.
What's your daily driver?
I've got one of the new Prados, which I've set up for touring around the country.
It's pretty flash.
I also had an E24 M635 CSI. For those who know what that is, that's got the engine out of the M1. So that was a bit of a special build, and I sold that off a couple of years ago. So in the height of COVID, when I was sitting around with too much time and thought about what I should do with it, but that was a regretful sale. That was a pretty cool car, that one.
Have you ever had any pushback from Mrs. Steve about your vehicles, your cars?
No, not too much. No, it's been pretty. I've been pretty lucky. So I did have a shed full at one stage of BMWs and some Porsches and bits and pieces, but that's gone right back now because I needed space to put the caravan somewhere. So now the cars are gone and made way for the caravan.
What's a caravan like that worth? Like ballpark?
You're probably looking most of these sort of off-road vans with a fair bit of gear on them these days. I mean, we've got air suspension and solar panels and lithium batteries on board and so forth. You're not getting a lot of change out of $170,000, and you're looking upwards up to $250,000 for some.
And that's like a hotel on wheels, like Kelsey said. You don't miss anything going out in that.
It's kind of like a holiday home. It's like an investment in a holiday home that can move.
That's right, yeah. I mean, you'll spend, Jayco's quite popular, you know. I think I remember talking to the sales guys about vans, and they were saying that 50% of all new van sales are Jayco's in Australia, and they're quite reasonable.
I remember growing up, we had a caravan, but our caravan was like, it was like a tin can on wheels. Like it was hot in the summer. It was fucking freezing in the winter. It was an awful thing.
Yeah, ours was the same. When I was a kid, we had a 13-foot York caravan that four of us used to go away on holidays in for a month when I was a kid. So I know exactly what you're talking about. They were pretty basic.
This is a topic of conversation that comes up a lot, where a lot of caravan towers, drivers, only maybe do it once a year. Or you've got grey nomads who have retired, cashed in their super, and their dream is to do what you did, get a caravan and go around and see Australia, but they've got no caravan towing experience. Do you think that there should be tougher regulations surrounding the licensing and the driving of caravans?
Yes, I do think that there should be a lot more testing and training around driving these big rigs. You're 100% correct. The cars these days, everybody's going out and buying their big Land Cruiser and a caravan that weighs 3.5 tonne, and by the time you load everything up, you're pushing 7 tonne. Most people have driven their Hyundai around the city to and from work for 40 years, and then they're out on the road with trucks and bits and pieces, and you see quite a lot of them driving along, and you'll be in 100k zones. They'll be plonking along at 75 k's an hour because that suits them, but it becomes quite dangerous on the road, and they just don't appreciate what's going on around them. And I think that people do need a bit of training on these big rigs. I've done plenty of driver training for cars, for doing racing and bits and pieces, but I think that people should also be trained up on how to tow these big rigs.
Should there be a separate test?
Yeah, surely there should be, like, it's like getting your heavy vehicle license. You should be doing those sort of courses, because at the end of the day, it's a heavy vehicle.
That's right. We're talking, our combined rig is close enough to 7 tonne. So, you know, you should be having whatever the class license is, light truck license or NB2 license. I think that should be compulsory in this space.
Can I make a confession here?
I'll probably get shot for that.
Yeah. Can I make a confession here? And this is no word of a lie, that I have never, ever reversed the trailer.
Oh, that's shocking.
Can you believe that? Like, I know blokes that can reverse trailers like they're going forwards. Like, it's definitely a skill, but I've never even tried.
Well, the amount of times I've had to back trailers out of this business because people will pull in here with a loaded trailer or a large trailer, and they've never backed one before, and they get confused and they keep buckling it and so on and so forth. So we have to back it out onto the street for them.
Never once.
Luke, I would hazard a guess that you haven't either.
No, I used to have a box trailer, and I got very good at reversing it between cars at the tip. And I had a broom that was planted at the back of it facing up, and I kind of used that as a guide. And then a mate of mine who was a truckie said, don't keep turning your head. Use your mirrors, and you steer the opposite way. Yeah. And he taught me a trick, Steve and Ben. He said, if you hold the steering wheel at the bottom, it will turn the way your hand goes. If you hold your hand at the top, it's the opposite. But if you hold the steering wheel at the bottom, it goes the way you want it to go.
Yeah, that does work. You can point the bottom of the steering wheel to the way that you want the back of the trailer to head. So, yeah, that does work.
See?
It actually does work.
See, Kelsey? I knew a bloke who had a permanent residency at the Kirra Caravan Park up on the Gold Coast. And he was a retired truckie. And he was living in his little cabin up there, and he loved Easter and Christmas, because all the caravans had come into the Kirra Caravan Park and they had no idea how to reverse it onto their platform and how to get it out. And so he would wander over. He'd sit on his deck chair on his front porch laughing at these people. And he said, for a 6-pack, I'll do it for you. By the end of the Christmas holidays, he had enough beer to put Dan Murphy's out of business. He loved it.
That's a good skill.
Yes, I can see that happening, Luke. I've seen plenty of people. Actually, only 2 days ago, I watched a bloke almost put his caravan through the fence that he was backing up against, which had a house down below it. So his wife was out there screaming at him. She couldn't move very fast and he was deaf. The van nearly went through the fence and over the hill and down into this house. So, yeah.
I saw an interesting gadget advertised online, and you unhitch your caravan, and attached to the wheel, the front wheel, was this device, and it was a remote control device, and he could reverse and maneuver his caravan using this remote control. Have you seen that?
Yes. I've actually got something very similar at home where I keep the van for when I put it into storage, because it actually makes it a lot easier than trying to back it through. I've got about 100 mil either side of the shed door, which is quite narrow to get through. So I use one of those style of things. They're very handy.
All Bids and Eva EHVA, Evans Hastings, and Ben Hastings is the CEO. Adam McDonald, the vice captain of the Man Cave, famous because of his brief stunt on Aussie Pickers. Soon to be picked up again, maybe, one day.
Mate, we're big in Portugal, I'll tell you.
Massive in Portugal. Massive in Portugal. Thanks for your time. I'm going to continue my chat with Steve now. Vice Captain, talk soon.
Thanks, Skipper. Thanks, Kels.
Steve, what's your advice to anyone that wants to buy a big caravan, a big four-wheel drive, and go travelling around Australia, and they've never done it before? Take us through your advice.
I would firstly suggest, if you're going to get the four-wheel drive, and everybody's online these days looking at YouTube and watching all these videos about all these great campsites in WA and wherever it might be, where you go down onto the sand and so forth. But once again, a lot of people have never driven on sand before in a car, let alone with a car and caravan. So I would suggest go and join a four-wheel drive club, learn how to drive your four-wheel drive, then get your van, then go and do some training, and then go and have a bit of fun and do it a bit at a time. Don't try and do the heavy four-wheel driving with a van on day one.
Steve, our trucking expert, Rod Hannafy, is a big believer in people with caravans getting a standard UHF radio in their vans and tuning it into Channel 18, which is used for communication between caravanners and other people. It's Channel 18. Do you have that?
Yes, we do. My radio will scan a few stations, so I can set it to scan 18, 29 and 40. So 18 being the caravanners channel, 29 being the East Coast Trucking Channel, and 40 being the National Truckies Channel. And so if I need to talk to somebody or they need to talk to me, they'll call me up, and any of those three stations I'll pick up on, or channels. And then most of the time, though, we drive around with Channel 40. It's been actually quite handy listening to Rod on your podcast. We've been talking to the truckies a lot more and overtaking and letting them overtake, etc. It's really been quite good. It makes things a lot easier when you're talking to the truckies than trying to second guess it, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Rod's also trying to get the message across that could caravanners on the back of the caravan have a sign saying that they have the UHF there. Would you agree with that? Do you have that?
Yeah, 100%. I don't. And since listening to Rod, I've gone, okay, I've got to get one of those when I get home. So that's definitely going on the back corner of the van, and the size that he talks about, because so many people have tiny little signs on the back. You can't even read them until you're right up on the back of the van.
Until you're too close.
So we just do a radio check with a lot of people. We just ask if they're on channel, if they're in front of us or coming up behind us, and generally they are. There's a lot that aren't still, but I think it should be almost compulsory for communications, especially once again with these big vans. They're long and people want to get past you, and it can get quite dangerous.
Trucks are speed limited to 110 kilometres an hour. Are caravans?
Well, your car's not speed limited, but you've got a towing speed limit of 100 kilometres an hour.
Right.
In Western Australia. So that's your maximum, regardless of the size of whatever you're towing. But in New South Wales, I think it is, you can actually, depending on your overall weight, you can do 110. We'd be too heavy, so we have to do 100. So basically, I know with my rig that anywhere I travel in Australia, the maximum speed I can go is 100 k's an hour.
Okay, next question. When you buy a caravan, brand new or second hand, when it's completely empty, I mean, I'm devoid of beer, of water, of anything, what is the weight limit, and how many people are aware that once they fully stock their caravan, they may be over that weight limit?
Well, the weight limit is determined more so by your towing vehicle. So you've got your trailer mass. So that can be whatever. Say ours is 2.5 ton as an example, dry weight, as you're talking about. And then we put water on board, and then we put a couple of gas bottles on the front, and then we load it up with some food and clothes and grog and whatever else that may go along. And then you might be up at 3.2 ton as an example. So my car can tow 3.5 ton, but it also has a gross combined mass of 6.8 ton as an example. So I've got to make sure that the car then fits within that 6.8 ton towing the 3.2.
This is probably a conversation you and I should have with my motoring expert from drive.com.au, James Ward. I used to have a commercial agreement with Mitsubishi. It lasted 7 years. It was great. And I got these cars to drive, some for a month, some for a couple of weeks, some for 3 months. And one of them was a Rally Art Evo. Oh, my God. Wow. Unbelievable. All-wheel drive. It drove like your Rex, like it was on railway tracks, and just unbelievable technology. I would never, ever in my life buy a second-hand one, either a Rex or an Evo, because you know they've been thrashed.
Yeah. The second-hand Rex that I bought, the one that I just rebuilt and ready to race, I think once I bought that, the engine lasted maybe 6 months, and then it blew up. Yeah, you're right. They don't. They usually have a pretty hard life, that's for sure.
And then people started putting bigger exhausts on them, and they installed a thing called a fuffle valve. What was that?
That's your blow-off valve. So yes, so that's the thing that makes all the noise when the turbo's blowing off a bit of pressure. So you've got to have it making lots of noises. That's all the show. You don't have 8 cylinders, so you need to make some noise somehow.
I have a 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V8, but I'm really disappointed in the sound. And James is trying to convince me, so too is my father-in-law, Ian, Kelsey's grandfather. He wants me to get a Resonate Delete. What are your thoughts?
If you like your car to drone and sound horrible inside, then absolutely do that. if you're going to be racing around, great. But if you're driving around in Sydney traffic, yeah, I don't know how long you're going to enjoy that for.
So I'm back to no again.
Maybe a no, yeah.
Maybe a no.
You can spend lots of money on good exhaust systems and have valves that you can open and close and do all that sort of stuff. You can have it in quiet mode and then have it in super loud mode. So maybe we could spend a lot of your money and get a really big exhaust system.
Yes, but because it's an AMG and it's already had an ECU retune, I'm told that if you muck around with the exhaust too much, you can play up with the car's computer, because it's reading the oxygen and the pushback pressure, and I could possibly keep getting engine warnings.
Potentially. You still have to put those O2 sensors back in, so they're still performing the same sort of function. I'm not an expert in that at all. I've changed plenty of exhausts on cars and not really ever had an issue.
Of all the cars you've owned and sold, which is the one you really regret selling?
I think there'd be 2. I think it's the STI, because that was just a barrel of monkeys. That was a great car. But I think the number one would be, I had a 1986 Porsche 911 with a wide body. And it was just one of those cars that you got in and you started driving and you didn't care where you ended up. You just kept driving. It was an A to A car, if you like. There was no destination. You just drove and then you eventually came home again. It was one of those things. I think it's like how a motorbike rider feels when they go for a bike ride. It's one of those feelings, and that car was fantastic.
Why did you sell it?
To make way for some other cars. I bought it well, and then I sold it well so that I could actually fund another couple of cars, to be honest.
I think our relationship, Steve, we're in for a very fruitful, happy relationship. I could talk to you all day.
It might cost us both a fortune at the end of the day too.
Yeah, well, I've got the Minister for War and Finance. Steve, you left for your trip shortly after these kids decided they were going to get spliced, and we had a wonderful surprise party for them at your place the day that Nathan proposed. Yes. They still haven't set a date. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Nathan's measured. He's taking his time. He's working out how he's going to fund it all, I guess, and he's got to live up to the lavish lifestyle that Kelsey's used to. So he's got to make sure he's got enough money there to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not lavish at all.
Can I just say this? You have raised the most wonderful young man. You must be seriously very proud. We love him. He's a really
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you and Lisa. Kelsey, on the other hand, it's going to be interesting.
Stop while you're ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, I think you had one of those thoughts of the day a little while ago, which was be good to your children because they pick your nursing home, and so I have to be good to Kelsey.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's gonna
exactly.
be-
And just so you all know, we're planning to plan in January. So we're going to start planning in January.
Next year.
Yeah, we're going to start planning in January, and then we'll
Sorry, I got
set
excited.
a date then.
Well, Steve, thank you for giving us a bit of time. I'll let you get back behind the wheel, and remember, tune into Channel 18 on your UHF. Have you run
Will do.
into any of our Bonafide Truckee Tuesday listeners while you're on the UHF?
No, I haven't actually asked them, to be honest. I think you need to get those stickers out so people can stick them on their trucks and on their vans and so forth, so that we all know we're all listening to you.
Yeah, but it's in Nathan's hands.
It is. It's in Nathan's hand.
He's a busy boy.
Steve, my future brother-in-law from another mother, it's been great talking to you. Welcome home. Almost.
Thanks, Luke. All right, yes. Talk soon. See you soon.
Love to Lisa.
Bye, Steve.
Righto, and to you
Thank
guys.
you, Steve.
Bye.
Well, thank you so much for bearing with us for episode 70. We think it's episode 70. That's what we're saying right now. The Millennial, thank you so much. Please remember, enter the Nature Bee Bucket List holiday competition. You could win a holiday anywhere in the world to the value of $20,000. And if your holiday's less, you get to keep the change. Just order some Nature Bee. $79.90 or more, and you're in the running. Thank you, Nature Bee, for being a sponsor of the Bonafide podcast. And remember the telephone number. Leave us messages, 0291 289311. Go on, Kelsey, you're creative. Do a jingle. 0291 289311. Pizza Hut. No. Are you going to join in? You're just shaking your head.
Are you going to have a thought of the day?
Yeah, and this is something I've been saying for a long, long time. You know, I have absolutely no issue with helping the needy, but I take massive issue with perpetually subsidising the lazy. Talk soon. All right, look, the episode's done, but before you pull the keys out of the ignition or turn off the lights, here's the dare. Stop dreaming about that holiday and actually enter for the chance to win one. Nature Bee is giving away 20 grand of travel anywhere you want. Bali, Broome, Barcelona, it doesn't matter. If it's under 20K, you keep the change. Spend $79.90 on Nature Bee products and you're in the running. It's just that easy. So go on, hit the link in the notes or head to naturebee.com, read the T's and C's, and let's see where you end up.